T. Gray and MK, you are now cleared for flight school takeoff.
4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hey, how are you all today? Everybody's good? If you're good, just like they was talking about on the, for our good recognition, just put good in there, hashtag good. Good morning to everyone. As we do have to say now, it's a common thing, but it's good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depends on where you are. We are everywhere, all over the world with our company, and I can tell you we are super excited to be a part of this great industry and actually leading the charge as to where we are going right now in this industry. And also I want to just say again, hats off to T. Gray and Mark Kipgard. I'm sitting here, I was snapping pictures because I was saying, you all don't see the behind the scenes work. It kind of reminded me in a sense of me and HB back in the day when we used to have to do the meetings ourselves. I'm pretty sure they're going to have a production team and all that stuff coming soon. But, back in the day, if you never heard the story of how HB and I came up in the industry, he would have this old Lexus that I was so ready for him to get rid of, but we couldn't, he was being cheap, first of all. And and we used to have to carry the screen, our own projector screen, and so the screen would make an indentation on the back seat, and I didn't want him to pull up in the front, so we would get there early, and I had my tape and the cords and all that stuff, and there wasn't a tuner around, at that time, and the different people, so I would actually go and tape the cords down and set up the projector, and me and we would test the sound and have the mic and all of that stuff ready to go. Things that we did early on ourselves, even before people saw the presentation. And then we would have to go and freshen up and try to look fresh prior to doing the presentation and knock it out. And it was all on us. And Mr. HB just walked in anyway.
I wasn't being cheap. I was practicing good.
He said he wasn't being cheap. He was practicing good. Well, he's still doing it right now.
The first Lexus they repossessed, they weren't going to repossess that. I paid cash.
He said, oh man. So we had to come up. But you know what? I look at the multiple roles. Nobody feels that they're too good to get to do the dirty work. And rolling up the sleeves and making it happen. And so you all can have the best possible trainings that you can have. And so many people get into certain positions or get tied into their titles and they neglect the real things that are necessary for a person to be successful. Now, I don't know what's going on with this camera now. It looks like I'm wiggling around. I'm wiggling around, but they're gonna get it straight. Hey, I'm down now. I'm like sinking under. I don't think they only see the top of my head.
Yeah. You come down.
Go down. Hey, don't worry about it. Information is still gonna be good. All right, but anyway, yeah. So the thing about it is, just like Mark was just talking about. He was mentioning as we were coming up in the industry. Doing what was necessary. Yes, I would go and sleep on a couch if I had to help our distributors. And I'm not necessarily sleeping on couches now, but we'd do what's necessary to go over there. It's not that we, could afford it. And there are some things that we're willing to do. We're still willing to roll up our sleeves and make things happen. That is what makes for a solid foundation, and it sets the right tone for your group. Because see, we always say people do more of what you do than what you say. They do more what you do than what you say. And so we want to make sure that, as we often say, lead by example. You have to lead by example. It's so important that you lead by example. And I'm just looking at what T. Gray was bringing up on the notes and what have you. Those notes are the notes, and I'm looking right here. These notes right here, these are from 2006, and all the different things that it had. The things that we work in our business were principle based. And I can tell you right now, one thing about it is if you build a principle-based organization, a principle-based business, then you don't have to create anything new. See, a lot of times we think that we have to go out there and reinvent the wheel. If a round wheel works, why make it square? And so many people are too busy trying to make square wheels out there when the round wheel work. But because it's something that you may have heard many times over, you now want to go out there and do something different or try to make it more exciting or whatever. But the principles that we teach, I can tell you, are principles that work. Otherwise, we would not have it in our system. You're going to hear some phrases, you're going to hear some things that we do, and not that we just grab things out the air and repeat, but certain things you hear are just non-negotiable, if you will, with the way we do business. I'm going to tell you this. If you're new to our system, come in and look to embrace the system. Look to embrace the system that we have, because there is a system that we have in place. There are things that we haven't been able to unpack, if you will, since we moved into the new house here of Ibüümerang, but there's a system. You'll see things unpacking as we go into different trainings and modules that we do that I know is going to be beneficial to you in whatever it is that you're doing, and specifically in Ibüümerang. And so one of the things I can tell you, if you're brand new to what we do, you hear this phrase from time to time: don't tear down the fences until you know why they've been put up. There are certain things that we have in place that have been put up just to protect you and to help you where you can go build a business without having to think about all of the things in terms of creating a system. Try going to build a system yourself and creating something yourself and go build a business from scratch. It could be a very difficult task for you, and I would prefer to have something that was already in place in terms of a system so I can plug into it, and then I can go and do the work that's necessary in order for me to benefit from that system. We often say as well, great companies are people dependent, but good companies are people dependent, but great companies are system dependent. When you look at the company of McDonald's, for an example, how in the world can they turn that company over to teenagers and the teenagers can run that operation, being managers and running the full operation? It's because they have a system in place. And so I'm not necessarily going to get into all the nuances of our system, but I'm going to give you some things that I often, and I've been trained, and many of the leaders, we have been trained and programmed over the years to pay attention to in terms of some vital signs of the business. Now, I'm not going to get into the specific training that T. Gray talked about, all of the vital signs, but there are certain things that are indicators that you should be looking for in order to build a solid business. And the goal is for you to build a solid business one time so it can pay you over and over and over again. And those are the things that I have been privileged to have been exposed to. And my goal is to make sure that we expose the people who are looking for that type of success. Our goal is for you to have that same experience, whether it's on a call like this, whether it's going to be at a major event that we do, which is coming up on the 22nd, or maybe it's one of the trainings like we had over in Florida with the Sapphire and Above trainings. If you could ever get to any of those trainings, these are trainings that not only take you from one level to the next in your business, but they're trainings that take you from one level to the next in your life. And I can tell you right now, many of the things that I have been able to go through. See, I tell people, more than the money that I've earned, the person that I became in the process is more valuable. And so I have gone through these things. This is not from theory. This is not what you're hearing. When you hear the leadership talking here, we're talking about things that we have gone through, tried and tested, experienced, and have received the results. And our goal is for you to be able to receive the results from what it is that we're training here. This is not just because it's the newest thing, but this is the biggest thing that we have truly ever done. And I'm going to tell you this. As I have traveled the journey of the road of success, one of the things I can tell you is every time we have gone through a transition, the business that we grew after the first business or the previous business was definitely bigger, infinitely bigger. This one, I have no doubt. See, if I go back and look at the numbers of what it is, because I'm telling you, you're talking about seasoned professionals now that are good at what they do with as a collective group of people, not guessing, but working on. I'm going to tell you this too. We paid attention in the school of life. So we were going through, we journaled these journals, these experiences and all the things that we went through. We went through those and we paid attention to it. We were in class of life and we literally paid attention. So I want you to pay attention to what's going on and let the information do to you what it's going to do to you. You're going to have to take that information in. You're going to have to take the information in and actually put it to use. You go try it. You go try and make it your own. This is our gift to you. One of the biggest things that Mr. Buggs has been saying is, I want to give back to the industry. And we've taken on that philosophy. Our philosophy is that we want to make sure that we give more to the industry than we've ever taken out. That is one of the biggest goals that we have right now, because we have benefited tremendously from this industry. And our goal right now here in this section of our lives, if you will, and from our experience, is now to give back to the industry. And now you all get a chance to be the beneficiaries of it. The biggest thing that we talked about, and I can go on and on about this, and I'm gonna get into all of the trainings and things that we talked about, but I was just going back to I'm thinking about right now, just a couple of days, we had a meeting here preparing for everybody's future, if you will, all of the tech people, all of the executives and different people coming together, and Mr. Buggs looking and put all the departments together, and all we were talking about was how the distributor's gonna do a benefit from it. And what's going to be the best thing for them. And you should have heard everybody trying to figure out, to make sure we don't let the field down. Making sure that we're on time and getting the proper customer experience and all of the things that we talked about, and making sure we redefine the technology stuff that we were doing. And just, it was all about the drivers. It was all about the customers, the Ibüümerang customer experience and the distributors, and making sure they have things that they need in order to have success as business people, and the best experience from being a customer or a user of our technology. And see, when I'm in a room like that, then I know we're on the right. It wasn't anything about how much money can I get. What's our percentage back? I don't think we ever even talked about what's the it was even never, I'm thinking about this now. I'm just thinking about this 3 days later. We never talked about what's the percentage that the company gonna get. It was how can we treat our customers. Like Mr. Buggs said, he's not creating a customer service department, he's creating a customer amazement department. And that's what we're looking at in terms of what's going on. And you all get a chance to have like I say, the beneficiaries of that. All of that experience came from, and I'm gonna even say this now, from being with the system for 20 years. We had the system working for someone else, and nothing was wrong with that. But we were there with other companies. We had to come up. We didn't own anything. We came up in the industry like most people, joined the company, participated in it, and worked it. This time we happen to have one of the best who's ever done the industry, period, end of story, that owns the company right now. And he can drive the industry and drive the company in the direction that he's always wanted it to go. And again, as I keep saying, you get a chance to be the beneficiaries of it. And some of you all have been looking for that. Matter of fact, put in the chat, I'm the beneficiary. You go down and sign your name to the list. I am the beneficiary. You need to be the beneficiary because it's time for us to go out there and make history and change some things out here and do the industry the right way. I don't care what company out there and some companies, listen, we're going to set the tone how to do it. We always wanted to make sure our brothers and sister companies survive. We want to make sure that we want to set the right tone. We want to give the right information so we can get out there and do what's necessary for people to win. It's time for people to win like never, ever before. Like never before. So let me, if I can, I'm going to give you a few tips on a few tips of things that we have paid attention to in order to build a big business. Okay, in order to build a big business. And you're going to see over, and I have committed myself to being here no matter what country I am, what time zone it is. We'll find a way for me to make sure that every month I'm going to do a training, and we're setting up, Mark, myself, and some of the other team, we were putting up some things that we want to make sure we cover, and it won't be necessarily in any order each month, but things that we know you can use and have as a part of our training system. We give you a piece every month, and I'll be more than happy to share that with you as my portion of giving back. So you need to be taking ownership. And I'll tell you this is your company, no hype. I know I can say that with every degree of confidence that I have in my body. This is your company. Wherever you are, it's your division. See, when I was building and coming up in the industry, my goal was to have a percentage of the production of the company. Where I started was I was the head of that division in my mindset. See, my division, whether I produce $1,000, $100,000, or $1 million of volume, I had a percentage of the company. And the goal for me was to incrementally increase my percentage every month. And so I would, if it was 10%, then if I was 1,000, let me be 1,100. Whatever it is, just give me an examples. But I wanted to make sure that as a person that was a part of the company, starting with me, because I began to enroll people into the company. And as I begin to enroll people in the company, that means I have responsibility. Just like I heard T. Gray talked about it as well. He said that's the responsibility. Sponsoring is the root of responsibility. You being responsible. And some of y'all need to be more responsible sponsors. Because a lot of times I see people who are sponsoring and they sponsor people and it's like they're sponsoring people with a dollar sign on their head. You need to make sure that you're being responsible when you're sponsoring people and do things to help them move along. Find out what it is that they want to accomplish. People don't care how much. Some of us go out there and we try to sound so good and talk so smooth and we got the information ourselves and we do all this big talk and all that. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And I'm not saying you need to be kumbaya with them and all of this old stuff or whatever, but you need to be responsible enough to get them on the right track in order for them to build their business as well. Did you even ask them why did they join the business? Did you know anything? Do you know if they're building it for their kids or spouse or to get out of debt, or do you know anything? Or did you just find out that you were going to get $80 for them signing up? What do you know about them? And then I'm telling you, you're gonna keep hearing us saying it. Stop chasing the commissionship. Build a friendship. Make a relationship. You're gonna hear us talk about these things. It's gonna be over and over. I'm on this marble desk or whatever this desk is, and we talk about it. If you keep dropping a drop of water on it in one spot, eventually it's gonna make an indentation. And the information is like making an indentation. We're gonna keep saying certain things that we know are critical to your success. See, we can talk about the boomerangs and we can get into all of the technical aspects of the business, and those things are great. We have it. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna tell you right now, we can go through technical things and show you all this fancy stuff right now, but until you get you right, you're not gonna see the results you want. I'm going to be completely honest with you. You can go do the work for a period of time, but if you don't go out there and get some of these things and work on you and paying attention to a few key things that we're going to talk about here and do this, you don't have to get it all right up front. Heck, it took me 3 years to even begin to really make money in the industry because I was so resistant to the information. I was talking to one of the distributors, I think, one of the distributors, one of the diamonds, and he was saying that, man, I wish I would have listened some time ago. Now, don't start listening now. Then when things go wrong, then you go back. If you're going to listen and pay attention to be trained and go on to go through the process. Again, don't tear down the fences until you know why they've been put up. And so I'm making sure that I get out there and do what I have to do to give you this information so I can go through this process, go through the full process. If you're going to make a commitment, make a full commitment. Go through the process. Some of y'all make these half or part-time or conditional commitments. Stop making conditional commitments. A commitment is a commitment. If I'm going to get it done, we're going to get it done. I may not understand. I don't expect for you to understand. Many of you are out here, and I'm not putting anyone down here. But at the level that's being played now, and in the experience that's there now, I had to learn this too. I couldn't expect to understand everything that I was getting from Holton and Buggs back in the day. And heck, some of it I don't understand now. Not that I'm less than, but I'm saying he's still growing. This is not just putting somebody up. He said, you don't have to put me out myself. I'm just telling you, I want to be around a leader that's growing. A leader that's not growing and stagnant in their growth is a tyrant. And I'm telling you, I want to be around someone that's growing and getting it done. And so and so because there were different levels of understanding as we came up, and whoever that may be for you. And this is not just from a positional standpoint. I want to make sure I get this clear. Just because somebody in your upline don't mean they know more than you. They just got in earlier. So we need to make sure that and this is not, like I said, let's make sure we do this with the right mindset, but find your plugged in growing leader. And so sometimes people don't, and also I'm gonna say this too, this is bonus stuff. I know I got another trainer, but this is bonus stuff. I wanna tell you this too. People that are in the upline, don't block access to your team when you know you can't give them what they need. That's gonna cost you more money than anything. You plan upline, this is not, I had to accept that in the beginning that I had to learn some new things in order for me to have the type of success. And so I had to watch for a little while and then I implemented. But I was eager to learn it and I got my ego out of the way. And as we say, your ego will stand between you and your bank account. I didn't hit executive director or senior director or director and say, you know what, you need to recognize me. Sapphire is the first level of leadership, Pen, but that's the first level. That don't mean you stop growing. So I always have stayed in a learning mode. Sometimes people think because I'm quiet that I'm soft. Don't get that confused. Because I've learned the success principle. Successful people dominate the listening. Unsuccessful people dominate the talking. And so when you're so busy talking, trying to impress people, you're going to miss the lesson that you need to learn. So a lot of times I know, but I'm listening because I need to be able to figure out what's going on in the room. I need to be able to figure out if I'm dealing with prospects, let me listen to them because people love to hear themselves talk. So I let them talk and they tell me everything I need to know on the prospect side of things. And in any form or fashion, I'm doing the listening. We had a group of people, and I know on yesterday they came by with Super E. Mr. Emmanuel Bernstein came by, and we had a couple of guys, incredible guys that are out there doing some things. We asked the question, they did the talking, I did the listening. I mean, they did the talking, I did the listening. We did the listening. We wanted to know, you know. In many cases, I don't let people interrupt my presentation. In this case, it was a different flow. You got to know when to do certain things. So pay attention to what's going on to your environment. Pay attention to how leaders are doing it. And sometimes you have to get yourself around the right people. And that's what I'm saying. Just because you are in a position of being above some people, you may not, you can do it respectfully, but then we'll teach that at some point in time. Man, I got so much that I want to give you right now, but we don't have but a short time to give it. But make sure you get yourself ready to receive the information and implement the information so that you can grow the biggest business possible. You got to remember, our goal right now is to break the records in the industry. Now, your record breaking may not be the next person record breaking, but you going from not making money in the industry to making $1,000 a week could be a record breaking and impactful thing to you. And that's just as important as anybody that's making whatever number it may be per month or per week. And our goal is to help you and make sure that we still provide the environment for the fish and the elephants to win, because we definitely the monkeys are gonna, as we say, the monkeys, if you heard the term, the monkeys are gonna do what they're gonna do anyway. So the things that I'm gonna give you today are things that's I know for a fact that I'm gonna give you the consciousness. My goal is to give you a conscious interrupt. I want you to have the notes so you can always reflect. I wanna give you some things that you can track and pay attention to or grow to. This is not gonna be so high level, but there are things that you need to be at least consciously aware of, so now you can go out there and pay attention. Right now, I can say, you know, white Mercedes, white Mercedes, white Mercedes, you know, I do from time. We weren't thinking about white Mercedeses, but because I gave you a conscious interrupt, you're gonna go out there and ride, you probably see white Mercedes everywhere. Well, the information and what we're gonna do today is for me to give you that awareness so you can know exactly what it is that you're looking for. And let me see if I can get the slides up here on what's going on. Man, that's a cool, oh man, that's pretty cool. What a team. Indicators. All right. You know what a team. I'll just leave it there. All right. Hey, do y'all like the slide? That's like me teaching you right now, right? So cool to have that. Indicators of a healthy business. Let's talk about some of those things here. Some of these topics I'm going to talk about are going to be topics that some of you all have heard. But if you're not getting the type of results that you desire and want, then you probably need to go back and revisit it, re-implement it. As a matter of fact, as I keep saying, and I say, we are the only animals that can mess it up in our lives and start all over again from scratch. Not many animals that I know on the planet can go back, do something one time, and go redo it like we do it. So we are very unique and privileged to be on this planet as a living soul and have the abilities that we have. And many of you all have those abilities and you squander the opportunity of being able to go back and redo certain things. And sometimes we have to, this is a subset. You heard this before. I trained this before on some of the things that you do for changes and that you have to do. 3 things. I'm going to give you another subset. Acknowledge. In your life, sometimes you have to acknowledge things of where they are. Accept. We can get this is a whole nother training we can get to, but these are conditions of change. You have to be able to accept what it is that you see. Once you acknowledge it, accept it. Some people acknowledge it, they see it, but they don't accept it, and they ignore it. Then you go back through and recondition. I don't care what level you are, you should have a room for growth. The biggest room in the world is the room for growth. And most people don't utilize that room. They use a small portion of that room. That's the biggest room in the world, room for growth. Utilize that. So things that I look for, Am I changing this? So number one, how many twos are flowing and being used in your team? How many twos are flowing and being used in your team? See, some time ago, we used to have physical CDs and DVDs and all of that stuff, but technology has changed things, and we don't have to have as many physical items as we used to. And so now there are other tools that we have, in particular in our company, and you're gonna see us looking at the tools that we have. One of the biggest tools that we have that you can utilize is your I Decide, for an example, okay? That's a tool. How many I Decides do you have going out personally? And how many I Decides do you have going through your team? See, those are methods of exposure. See, as we break down the calendar, you have the massive exposure, massive sponsoring, massive volume. You hear those terms. You heard the training of the calendar. But when you look at massive exposure, which was the 1st through the 10th, that's the time that we said. That doesn't mean that you don't expose through the remaining part of the month, but massive exposure takes place, and utilizing the I Decide is something that you can use as a tool that you have. Okay? Am I clicking this?
Nope, let me get you there.
Okay. And the other thing is the calendar. I am not going to stop talking about the calendar. I'm not going to break it down. We've trained on it, but I'm telling you, I was talking to Sunday Chandler. We did a counseling session, and Jackie Pippins. I talk to Jackie Pippins every day. Jackie Pippins and that team, they are in the hunt. Telling you right now, they're in the hunt. And you know, and I'm talking to him. I'm going over the calendar with him, and I was talking to Thomas and Annie and Alex and that team they have over there, and Alex and Crystal and all of them. And we broke down the calendars, and we did a group training. I'll say private, but a group training, because they said, can you speak to my team for me? Because we've never had this type of training. We had calendars. We understood how to do a calendar, but we didn't understand how to do it like you all have it here. I wish we would have known this stuff. And see, some of y'all are hearing and you're like, I've seen calendars before. Okay. You remember I said, don't tear down the fences until you know why they've been put up? Everything that we do is on purpose. We have a purpose-driven organization. We have a principle-based organization. It is on purpose. The presentation, there's a purpose to it. Oh, I wish I could get into the presentation training. But I am going to do a presentation training. You can put that down. I'm going to show you what you need to cover in the presentation. I'm just going to call out something. Subsets. When I do a presentation, you want to establish that the company is solid. This is bonus. You want to establish that the company is solid. Can I do it? Can the person you talk to, can they do it? Can I make money? Can they actually make money? Hey, so is the company solid? So you need to always have your story, establish that the company is solid, that they can do it, and that they can make money. And I'm telling you, if you can do just those things, no particular order, but in some form or fashion, when you're giving the presentation, if you do that, people will get in because now they believe in the company. And then I missed one other thing. Does the product work? Is the company solid? Does the product work? Can I do it? And can I make money? That's a side note. I'll break those down too. That's a whole training by itself. See, there's an art to what we do. You don't see it. See, that's why it's an art. Sometimes you don't see the artistry and the art. but there's a purpose to everything that we do. So I'm not just frivolously doing presentations. When I give a boomerang out or send an I decide, I'm just not sending an I decide. I'm sending an I decide with the purpose. I'm sending a boomerang and I've already set it up properly so they're eagerly waiting to receive it. And see, if you do this right, it's not anything fancy, but I know the value of what it is that I have. You need to know the value of you. Some of y'all are undervaluing yourselves. You're undervaluing the opportunity. Oh, you say, oh, these just boomerang. No, listen, if you know the value, knew the potential value, because you can't really put a full price tag on what you can receive over a period of time from one boomerang. You know, we have people, if you take my 35-cent personal 35-cent story of me giving out a boomerang to somebody's $1,600 experience that they're going to make from one boomerang, it's still a value to it, because now that person who's utilizing it could utilize it again. There's no limit to how many times they can use it. There's no limit to how many years they can use it. You all are undervaluing the product that you have, and the product works. So how many boomerangs do you have going out? That's a tool. How many I decide do you have going out? That's a tool. How many calendars do I have going through my group? And I'm saying, and when we teach the calendar, we're not teaching we're not teaching the max that you can do. Because there's more to what you can do, and we just give you a base of 4 meetings a week, 4 times, 4 weeks out the month, and looking for 1,000 of volume. You heard the training that we do, and you can go back and listen to the calendar training, but we give you a base of what takes place. But when you're in the hunt, like Johnny Wimmery, and when you're in the hunt like a Jex, I'm still considering that Jamaica trip next week. But anyway, that's another side note. But these guys are crushing it. When you look at Cesar and all of them, I heard it, Cesar, if you look at his schedule of what's taking place right now, Cesar is in the hunt. Avinash over in London. Esteban, Rodolfo, they're getting it done right now. So many people out there. I was talking to Peter Hurst. He hit me last night. Him and Karen on the road doing multiple things, serving the company from the Boom Foundation standpoint and all of that stuff, but they're paying attention. Peter said, I'm ready. He told Mr. Buggs the other day, I'm ready to take it. I'm building a new group along with what I have right now, and we're gonna do exactly what the system is requiring us to do. Exactly what's taking place. I'm seeing Sam Bean out there making it happen. That's what Sam Bean does. That's what he's going to do. He's been a part of the system. He better go and do it. Soupy, like I said, came by with people over there. Talk to Tommy Johnson. You know what? Sometimes we have the tough talk. If you ever get a chance to have a good relationship with your upline sponsor, you need to do that and respect that relationship. But sometimes Tommy Johnson and I have those tough talks. He go out there and say, Coach, I appreciate it. He get his understanding and he go and implement it. One thing I like about it is once we get those talks out of the way, he goes and implement it and gets the results out of it. He and that team are rocking. See, these are things, but they're paying attention to what we're showing them to do. These are some of the diamonds. And guess what? Brand new people that's coming up, you can do this too. Start somewhere. You don't have to start it. Neither one of us started at the top. Matter of fact, I give you this. When I started in the company, when I began to do Ibüümerang, I shut down mentally of who I used to be because I was going to be better than that person. So I shut that down mentally. I shut that down physically from the environment standpoint. I didn't want to see anything about who I used to be. I had a guy that wanted to have a meeting with me. He came down with a briefcase of all the clippings of who he used to be. Stop reading your own press. I'm telling you right now, you got to get out of that. Stop reading your own press. One of my favorite sayings that I got, and I'm taking it on as my own, listen, an editorial is always better than an ad. Let somebody else talk about you. More than someone else talking about you, let the printout talk about you. The proof is in the printout. What did the numbers say? From your efforts, from you paying attention, from you giving out the boomerangs, from you giving out the I decides, from you working the calendar. What did the printout say? And if you're not getting the type of results that you wanted, did you go back and ask for a counseling session with your coach? Sometimes I do have people that do that. And many times, hey, listen, coach, got to talk to you. You know, Ronell calls up. Hey, man, I need to get some time on your schedule. I know you're busy. He's not going to let me rest until I get to him. There's certain people, they're going to follow the system. And they're gonna reach out, and I'm gonna find the time to make it happen. I can't get to all the people all the time, but I'm gonna get to you at some time because we're running a company. We have our fiduciary duties to the company because you need a company, but also to the field. And there's a balance that we have to have. But right now, if you're a distributor and you have the liberty to go out there and just work, go build. I'm gonna tell you this too, and I'm gonna move to the next subject. We was in the meeting. I know I'm talking about Mr. Buggs again on this one. And he was sitting there going through all of the decisions and all that stuff. He looked around and said, man, can I just go back to the field and build? The CEO, I know him. I've been knowing him for years. He would rather be out there in the field crushing it, making it happen, working the calendar. He's working the calendar on a different level now because somebody has to go in and build the road and pavement ahead of us. And that's what he's doing, painting the vision, putting things ahead of us. So all we have to do is follow the path of success that's being laid out by the people that have our best interests at heart. And so if you have that privilege, listen, if you have the privilege of running a market yourself, did you start from a small meeting in the home or start from 101s and go to bigger meetings and let it go? Go take on a market. Find your market share. Start with your calendar. Get into the living rooms and dens. You know, I was did a good party this week here, and I know Daniel and Toledo was sending out their stuff as well. I'm back in the. It's not always about who's in front of the room doing big meetings. You're gonna get that at some point in time. But any one of you all today, I don't care what your level of success is. You can open up a living room or den, a small meeting room. I don't care what you do. I don't care if you go and open the trunk of your car and do something. Do something and start small. Start somewhere. Don't wait. It may not be perfect, but make sure, you gotta remember, if everybody think they're gonna to build a business, they have to go out there and be a big time speaker and someone that can do a big meeting and draw a big crowd. If that's what they think they're gonna have to do, they're not gonna do it. Personally, I don't care to speak in front of the big room. Personally, I don't. It's still a very uncomfortable thing for me. But I got tired of being broke. So the discomfort of being broke was tougher. So I decided to go out there and start speaking in front of the room. I didn't want to have that situation of having someone else to control me. So I wanted to follow the steps that they were giving me. And I said, listen, if it's not going to work, which that wasn't an option for me, but if it wasn't going to work, it wasn't going to be on me because I'm going to follow exactly what it is that they say. I'm going to do 100% of the work. I'm going to follow. I'm going to make my adjustments. I'm going to accept that if I'm not up to par right now myself, that I have to accept this is who I am. It's okay. Now I can go back and correct it. The other thing is we can correct activity, but we cannot correct inactivity. You have to go do something. Pay attention to your results. Talk to your counsel with your upline and let us help you build a big business. Okay. Let's talk about some other things here.
Hold on.
Okay. Man, I'm getting fired up in here. Have some water right now. I hope you're getting it. I hope you all are getting it. You ready? Here's a bonus. I'm gonna give you all a lot of bonuses. Somebody say preach. Amen. Your income growth will never exceed your personal growth. Never. Your income growth, it's not gonna happen. I'm gonna be upfront with you. You can say it and do what you want, but it will never exceed. That's why I continue to grow. You remember I said a leader that's stagnant or who refuses to grow is a tyrant. Pay attention to some of the people that call themselves leaders anywhere. If you don't see them growing and they don't repeat, or they sound like they stuck in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, if that's what you're hearing, you have Houston, we have a problem. And I'm serious. I wanted to grow. I adopted some philosophies from my coach. You got a coach. You may have a different coach, but y'all get a chance to be indirectly coached by certain people. I've gotten coaching, if you will, indirectly from people through books and audios and things of that nature. But this one thing that I said that I took on as my own. The person that I'm competing with is not my neighbor. It's not somebody else in the company. It's not somebody else in another company. It's the person that I'm going to be in the future. I have mentally designed who I'm going to be. I adopted that from my mentor, my coach, and friend, HB. I'm competing with him. And I can tell you right now, I am not the same person I used to be. I'm proud to say it. You know, I don't speak the same. I don't walk the same. I don't look the same. It's totally different. We were laughing the other day. All of us look different. I can tell you this now, because I brought some old pictures of a training. MK, T. Gray, HB, all of us, we looking at that training. We looking like, wow, that's us. Put those pictures up. But we were going through a boot camp that HB was doing at that time. And I never forget, I remember that boot camp that we went through, but we were going through the personal development, the things that I'm teaching you on right now, you know. And one of the things I did was I fell in love. You know, I took this as well. I have two addictions, if you will. You can call it good or bad. I'm addicted to residual income and personal development. I have to have it. So some people are addicted to Coca-Colas or ice cream, or food, whatever. I just happen to like residual income. It just does something to me. It makes me happy. I am addicted to personal development. I like going through the process of growing and development. Here's the thing. I said as a bonus too. So why is it a tool? Well, when is the last time you recommended a book or an audio to someone? What personal development do you have going through your group? See, that's a tool too. That's an untalked about tool, or a tool that you don't feel or it's not a tangible necessary tool. It could be tangible if you're talking about handing a book. See, I can tell you another tool here for us. Mr. Buggs we gift each other books. The best gift you can give to anyone is a book. One of them is a book with no words, and that's a journal, just like T. Gray took and made it his own. This is his own book. It started with nothing. Give them a journal and some other personal development book. But Mr. Buggs came in, I know a month or so ago, I went into the office and I made sure everybody had a book that I found was, was a good, beneficial book from somebody that's credible. Mr. Buggs last week did the same thing. All of us have this book. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you have enough personal development going through your group, some of the issues you having right now, you probably won't have it. Many of you all are having more issues because your mindset is in the wrong place. I'm giving it to you real here. This is for you and your team. This is not to beat up anybody. I just want to give it to you real where you can get what you need. See, I know I can spot a team that's growing because they're going to be talking about different stuff every time I see them. They're not going to do it to impress you, but you can hear personal development. You can hear a group that's growing. Their thought pattern is different. You may have heard them speak in a certain way and not necessarily the language or the word, but it's something about hearing from a person or a group that's growing. And that's another tool. Let me get on. I got to go. I got to keep going. I know we run hit just tools you can use. I just threw some books up there. All of these books are books that I went through. Master Key to Riches. We did a study on Master Key to Riches. A one year study on Master Key to Riches. We used to have to do a report every Monday. I think that was Monday, every Monday or so, but once a week. We talk, and each one of us on that call would report, do a report of what we had to read for that in that book. You start doing this, you begin to do these type of things in your group. See, you didn't hear me talk. I talked about boomerangs and all that stuff. I'm going to give you a few numbers that you can jot down. But I'm telling you right now, some of y'all have your priorities out of order. See, we're trying to grow a big business, but you're going to have to walk and chew bubble gum at the same time, literally, with this. Put personal growth first, then a lot of the pieces that you feel you're missing will begin to fall in place. You won't even know where they come from, but this is going to be like adding oil to a car. No oil in the car, the engine doesn't run. Personal development is like a fine oil running through the engine of your car. This is your success engine. Master Key to Riches, Think and Grow Rich, Skills with People. Some of you all need to read Skills with People right now today. Because your skills with work, you got to remember, people are our business. If you don't understand a little bit about them, not being an expert, but if you don't understand a little bit about people, you're probably not going to make any money from it. Now, you can hide behind the computer and you can do all that stuff, and that's fine. But you still have to have some type of communication with them, but have skills with people. One of the biggest books we talk about, the parable of the pipeline. How many people, that goes back to the twos. How many I decides do you have going through your group? How many boomerangs? See, the pipeline should always have somebody going through the process of being exposed. And so all these things, speed wealth, the richest man in Babylon, get your money right. That's all part of what we do. That's who we are. We just different, but we talk about getting out of debt. John C. Maxwell, 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. You need to do this. You need to be able to lead. First of all, learn how to lead yourself. That's another one, developing the leader within you. Some of you all are too busy trying to develop other people when you need to develop yourself. So take time for yourself for a minute, refuel you before you try to lead somebody else. And so get those things done, okay? Am I clicking? Mm-hmm. Somebody goes, mark you off the chart. Now, this is selfless, shameless promotion.
No, it isn't, because I'm the one that put it there.
I didn't do this. But anyway, you do have permission to succeed, right? You do have it. These are things. Listen. This is not. I'm not here. I'm not here about. It's not about me. Seriously. But I didn't put a book out until I had made over $1 million in this industry. Period. I didn't write a book to make money. Hell, the heck out of giving many of them away. Because I want people to have the information. And I know these are things that I live by, what made the difference for me. And so, so this, I don't care who, start somewhere, begin somewhere, okay? Here goes, number 2, okay? Number 2. Huh?
I didn't mean to do that.
What'd you do?
do it?
I did it.
Oh.
I did it. All right. How many people are STPing, which means sharing the plan and working the calendar? These are numbers you need to pay attention. I talked about what it is, but STP, and T. Gray did an excellent job last week talking about STP. STP is showing the plan, sharing the product. The product is the boomerang. The product now is our vibe, as we have vibe for Florida and Texas and other areas going around the U.S. and then eventually around the world. But right now we're talking about the STP of showing the plan. Now, and working the calendar. So I am paying attention to that number. I want to know how many people do I have actually out there making this happen. You should pay attention to it. Do you have one? Well, first of all, are you showing the plan? Are you leading by example? Are you out there telling people? Are you being a manager right now? You need to handle your affairs, if you will, in terms of your business and be able to pay attention to that, your business affairs, but you also need to be showing and leading by example. When is the last time, how many plants do you have? See, I was talking to them, give you another thing on Jackie Pippins I was talking to. They have a little deal they're doing amongst each other. And they have a commitment to do 2 STPs a day. And it's a contest they have. And if you miss any day of showing the plan twice, and you have to be accountable and have proof you showed the plan, you're going to be out this contest. We have people that are canceling their trips because they don't want to miss showing the plan. See, when you have that type of commitment and people doing that type of exposure at work, I'm telling you right now, and you layer personal development on top of this, if there are any challenges, I'm not saying we have any, you won't even see them because your production will always outwork the challenges. And if you just just follow the system. Follow the system, okay? So when I say STPing, let's give you some things of what's going on, what I pay attention to. You show me a group that has the most people, you have people showing the plan, I can go in the printout and show it and prove to you, because the proof is in the printout, I can prove to you of the volume that they're going to generate just from the exposures that they have, because they're working with a purpose. When you layer the things what I talk about how to show the presentation and things to cover. So you're not going to show a presentation just because, you're showing the presentation with a purpose. See, when I break down the calendar, when I showed this to Thomas and Alex and all of those guys over there, Abdi and over in France, I was with George and all those guys, and I showed them what to watch out for. When I broke down the numbers with Tommy and said, Tommy, listen, we need to look at how much volume needs to be accomplished per month. I don't care if it's going director. I did that with Sunday again. Sunday I said, what PM level this person need to do? Well, that's all the volume they need a day. She said, wow, I didn't think about it like that. Take it a little piece at a time. That's a little piece at a time. But this would allow you to track exactly how you get there. I'm giving you the roadmap and the steps that we take. This is what I do every day. I don't do anything fancy. How do we have the success that we have? Is we do a little bit at a time. We follow the maps. We pay attention to the numbers. We make sure that, and I love talking to the people that out there. I like talking, I call them my warriors. I like talking to the warriors who go out there on the battlefield, and the battlefields are the living rooms and the dens, and during the Zoom calls and all the things that then they come off the battle. Hey, listen, let me tell you what we did. We have 100 people on the call. Let me tell you what I did. I had 5 people at the meeting. I had such and such, and they coming back and they talking about it. Let me tell, hey, can I get you on the next one? Can you do some closing parties? Can you do? And they're working with the upline and all of that stuff. And I can see them. Some of them have the war wounds on them. They come back and say, you know what? We thought we were going to have 20 people there, but only 10 showed up. And I said, don't worry about the 10 that didn't show up. That's their loss. Let's focus on the 10 that's there. Oh, I didn't think about it like that. See, that's because you're counseling. A lot of y'all are winning, but you think you're losing because you're counseling yourselves. I heard that a person that counsels themselves has a fool for a counsel. I decided not to be a fool, so that's why I counsel with somebody that knew more than me. Let's keep going. Is it on me?
Yes, sir.
How many calendars are running through your group? You're going to hear me say it again. I'm not going to stop talking about it. If you even take some time to read what's in there and how to set up your meetings, some of y'all will be infinitely better in production if you follow what's there. It's all thought out. Take some of those things and fill out what's in there. I know this is some of your first time ever seeing the calendar. And I'm talking about the ones that already have the calendar. You probably never even opened it. But this is what it looks like. I wanted to purposely put it up on the screen so you can see it. So you can see it again. I'm not going to do a calendar training, but I'm telling you, try to travel, make it, if you made a plan to go from your home, wherever you live, to New Orleans, driving, or from your home to California, I don't know where you live, driving, and do you just get in the car and start driving and just hope you end up in New Orleans or California? Or do you map it out or use some type of guidance system on your phone or something? You have to have some type of guidance system in order to get you there. And this is why we draw the groups out. Listen, I'm gonna tell you this as well. Don't go to your sponsor or your plugged in upline or your coach, and definitely not me, without having your group drawn out for a counseling session. I'm not gonna even accept the call. It's probably gonna be a 10-second call even if I pick up, because first of all, the calendar should have already come to, the drawing out of your group should have come to me. I don't care if it's 1 or 2 people on there or 200 key people, but we'll talk about that. But I want to show you how to pay attention as you're growing, because many of you all are here to make some money and building your business. So that's on a building side of things. So here it goes. You with the calendar, it's potentially 16,000 in volume. Based on your own efforts, you can drive Sapphire. You plus 2. We got to remember, you and 2 others, that's 3 people generating 16,000. Where's the 16 coming from? Remember, you have a goal to have 1,000 of volume per meeting, 4 times a week, 4 weeks a month. 4,000 of volume times 4, 16,000 potential volume. If you're paying attention to this, you can structure out getting yourself to Sapphire. Some of you all may have to do more meetings to accomplish this. See, for me, I had to do more meetings than what was required. I'm not as good as a speaker as I call him JW, but as Johnny Wimber. That's not what I do. I'm not as good a speaker and orator as a T. Gray. I'm not as buffed as Mark Kipcart. But I can tell you this, they're going to have a job trying to outwork me. What I liked in skill, I made up in number. And I'm telling you right now, don't try to be anybody else. Be the best you. You can make it up in the number. Just keep doing it. Keep doing it. Keep pitching. Keep hitting. Keep swinging. Keep showing the plan. Keep going through the nose. Eventually, listen, you can't show the wrong plan to the right person. And what I mean by that, even if you mess it up and what you may think it may be messed up, if the right person is looking, they'll see through it. The other thing is, the information that we have in place is already thought out. You just need to show it to them and present it or whatever. But guess what? They don't know what's right or wrong. They don't know it didn't sound like this when you heard it from your sponsor or the person that said it. You don't have to do it in any fancy way. Just do it. Some of y'all need to listen to a speaker that I sometimes go back to, Art Williams, and there's a thing that says, just do it. Just do it. You go look it up on YouTube. You don't have to buy it. Just listen to him talk about just do it. I'm telling you right now, just go do it. Well, I messed up. Go do it. You really need to do it. Just keep doing it. I messed up again. Do it again. Go back and do it. Just do it and do it and do it. And I'm telling you, if you do it long enough, see, repetition is the mother of all skills. The more you do it, and the better you have a chance to get. Remember, I said we can correct activity, but we cannot correct inactivity. Just do it. U plus 4. That's a Ruby business. So some of y'all are gonna be looking for all of these people. No, find 4 people with a dream. 4 people that is willing to do the work. In your group, you'll grow. It may not be your personals. It may be somebody that's let. Also, I'm gonna give you this too. The success that you may have in your group may be down in depth from below somebody that you sponsor. So some of y'all need to be paying attention to and being a good talent scout, paying attention to people who are ready and take them to your leader. So all of these different things that you have, okay? All these different things you have. So U plus 12. U plus 12. Okay? It's diamond. That's $200,000 of volume coming through you collectively through your team. It's not you by yourself. So I'm giving you pick where you want it to be. You pick where you want it to be. And so this is things that you can pay attention to. And I'm always looking for that. Here's another one, number 3. How many new active customers are you gaining each month? How many new active customers are you gaining each month? You can't put a price tag on the value of one customer. I wanted to make sure, and I'm going through it, and I have to go through it. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm being upfront. I've been building more on building the business and enrolling people and helping other people grow. But I'm going back through to make sure I tighten up on my own personal customer base. I'm being accountable to that. I have customers, but I need to be in the boom 500. I'm going to be in the boom 1,000. I'm not going to let you all outproduce me. So I'm accountable to it. I'm going to do what I got to do because listen, my little story, my first 35 cents that I gained from giving away a customer, I'm fired up about it because I know the system work, I know the program work, and I know what we're going to be able to do with those customers. See, any one of y'all, when I saw that I made my first 35 cents from one of my customers, I knew that anyone, even if they were shy at presenting, if they would go out there and do the work and give out the sites, they can go build a big business over a period of time. And so how many customers that you have going through your group? Here's some things that I'm gonna suggest. Have a calling party for your customers. And what do I mean by calling party? Some of y'all need to get together and just say, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna have some fun. You can go get some snacks or pizza, whatever you wanna do, and come together and get your potential customer list. This is just one thing. This is one part of the business. Just take a customer acquisition day. Make it a customer acquisition day. And you all get together and make some calls or send some messages out, like we tell you, to have that interaction with those persons that you're going to send this your boomerangs to, and let them know what they're going to get. And you all look to acquire those customers. And I'm telling you, this is the foundation of building a solid business. Distributors and customers are the foundation of building a solid business. And maybe do a calling party for that. You can do a calling party for inviting. You know, get in a room with a few people, and if you're going to do a meeting on Tuesday, see if you're local enough. If you can do something on a Sunday or even that Monday or whatever, and you just begin to call and invite, and that helped us out, because I never forget being in a room and we were doing the calling parties, and we would hear people. They wanted us to hear them do their invite, and that's how we got good at inviting, because we would hear each other and we would help critique, give constructive criticism of what it was they were saying to help them and empower our people, so they became beasts at inviting. They felt really comfortable because they had their counterparts in the room and co-people that were with them, and they were encouraging. They went back and made it again, and they fell off, and I should have said this. Okay, say it the next time. And I'm telling you, something about having that synergy in the room, and it built the relationships. See, these are things that some of you all need to do right now. But go on and build your customer base. Okay, build your customer base with this. Have an accountability system. Don't wait on the company's technology to build your business. Oh, we're going to do our part. But you need to do your part too. What if technology was down for a little while? You shouldn't be lost because technology may be down. That could be in anything you do. So I'm paying attention to it, of what's going on. I'm just giving you little things that you can do. So pay attention to what's going on. Don't wait on the company's technology, even though we're going to do it. It's going to get better every day, every week, every month. We're better than we were when we started in March of 2019. We're going to get better this year. Okay? Use your own accountability system. Have something that you can track. And what I would normally do, I would make sure that the key people that I have identified, you need to make sure that they send their numbers to you. Maybe give a little, because they've been accountable to you, so you can know now, out of the key people that you're working with, how many customers they have added, how many meetings they have done. See, that's having the accountability amongst each other. So you want to do that. Put reminders in your calendar or in your phone. Okay? Put reminders in your calendar in your phone. Utilize the tools that you have to build it. So put reminders in there, so you can now see how to have the accountability. Maybe you do it once a day and reporting to each other and keeping each other accountable. That's how you keep business flowing and rolling in your business as well. Having an accountability partner. Okay? So who are you being accountable to and with? Is it your upline? You can be accountable to them. You can be accountable to your success team. They can hold your feet to the fire as well. You know, so make sure you get those out. Here's another one. How many ambassadors are you adding to your team each month? How many ambassadors are you adding to your team this month? In the beginning, I want you to work on 10 and 2. Get 10 customers plus your first 2. Let's get that out of the way. Let's get it out the way like yesterday. See, that's the beginning. Go on and find the right people, and you set your meeting up and you do what it is that you have to do. Send your ID sites out, do your own private good party. But how many ambassadors? I wanted to make sure that I followed the plan to be able to monitor how many ambassadors that I had coming into my business. Now, I'm gonna give you something here that gives you an ideal, the ideal of what you should be looking for over a period of time in your business. Okay, this is just something for the future. Depends on where you are, but just some numbers that I've learned to have here based on the rankings that you have here. So I knew when I was going to Sapphire what I was looking for. And some of y'all are going from brand new to Sapphire. You're going from director to Sapphire, you're going from executive director to Sapphire, whatever it may be, but I knew I had to have about 25 to 35 people coming in business that month. And some of this is going to help you because I'm going to tell you this. You will have attrition that takes place. You're going to have people that fall out of the business. They may not be qualified, but I always wanted to not have more people going out the back door than coming in the front door. But I also have to be realistic to know that everybody is not going to stay in business. Some people are going to buy on emotion. They're going to get excited, and then life is going to happen, and it is what it is. But I wanted to have new people in place, and I also always remember the group that gets you to one level won't be the group that gets you to the next. You got to remember, the group that gets you to one level won't be the group that gets you to the next. Your group should always be evolving. It should always grow. So how many people do you have collectively coming into your business at that level? How many people do you actually have coming in? Here's something else. I know it's going to be about 50 to 75 people every week per month as a group, because they're going to be sponsored. You're going to have different people that's focused on whatever. And like I said, just give me some things so you can have, I want people ready. We're grooming you for a major explosion. Hopefully you're ready. Matter of fact, if you're there now and you hear me, say, I'm ready. I'm ready for a major explosion right now. I'm ready. You got to claim it. You have to claim it. So are you ready? You should be ready. Emerald, about 150 to 175 per month. You're going to have that coming in as a collective group. These are things that I know you're going to have on a monthly basis. And at the pinnacle of it, I say the pinnacle, the next biggest ranking, you're going to have about 300, 375. Coming in. It's going to happen as a team because you're growing a group, you're growing a business. It's going to happen. And these are things that I want you to get ready to understand what's taking place. So wherever you are here, you have a plan of action that we're going to put in place, and you'll see exactly what it is that we need to do. Here's the last one here. How many ambassadors do you have attending events? How many ambassadors do you have attending events? All major decisions to build a big business happen at a major event. I'm telling you right now, I never missed an event that I qualified to attend. I never missed it. And I am suggesting that you get there and don't announce events, promote events. Many of us just, oh, there's an event coming. No. You promote it like you the Don King or Don Kingette of promotion. And you can't over promote. There's no such thing as over promoting an event. There's a such thing as under promoting, but there's no such thing as over promoting an event. This is so critical for you to have the type of success that you want. See, it's only so much you can do yourself when it comes down to motivating and moving and pushing the team. You by yourself. There's no way that you can impact a person in the way that a major event can do. That's why I make sure that I go all out when it comes down to promoting for events. Well, you say what events are important? Well, I'm going to tell you, we talk about major events, but the next event is the most important event. The next event is the most important event. Okay? Let me show you here. Sorry. Events are designed to set the speed and the environment for your group. Okay? Then You heard us say we didn't create the success of all the people. Mr. Buggs often say he didn't create the success of the people, he created the environment. One thing you're gonna get is the environment, but if you want to add a supercharger group from growing, add the speed to it. And the speed will be added, supercharging, I'm sorry, add an event, and that's gonna supercharge the speed of growth that you have in your group. It's nothing like having a bunch of your team and a certain number of your team that's there getting the same information, the same impact that you're getting. You can't come back home and give that to anybody. So that's why you go out there and you make sure you promote like you've never promoted before to get that team there. And events are designed to set the speed and set the environment for your group, okay? Build your business from event to event. From event to event, okay? Build it from event to event. And so here's some of the things that we have here on this. No, I got the wrong one. I missed my other one. All right, the different events that you have. Local event. Your local event is important. So, but you start with home meetings. That's an event. Start with home meetings. And you go from home meetings to the local meeting. See, you need to support the local meeting. When you're there with a guest, you need that local meeting to work for you. When you're there without a guest, the meeting needs you. You need to be at the local meetings and supporting and growing the local meetings. And when you go from local meetings, there are regional meetings. There are regional events that you have, regional trainings and things that you have of that nature. Go on and make sure that's the next event that you have. Then you have national events. Okay? We got a big national event that's going to take place, and then we have international events that take place. See, when we were over in Mexico doing Decide, that was a national event for Latin America. We got the Gold Diamond training that we're going to have coming up later on during the summer. We have Accelerate that's happening right now. That's really the international. Some people are going to come internationally for that event. And I'm not going to announce it, I'm going to promote it because I know the ones who have the most people there are going to have the most impact. And we're gonna set the environment. It's gonna set the tone. It's gonna set the speed. It's gonna make things happen for you like you've never had happen before. So I want you to utilize the tools and the systems that we have in place. I know some of y'all may not have all of the understanding of the nuances of it, and that's okay. But as I mentioned before, just do it. All you have to do is just do it. We'll figure it all out. We'll sort through it. We'll make it happen together. Do your counseling with your upline sponsor or your upline coach or mentor or whoever it may be, and work with them and let them do their part to help navigate you on this road here. And so all of the things that I talked about that we highlighted today, various things that we talked about, from knowing how many people you have at events, to how many customers that you have, to how many active people you have coming into your group, and how many tools that you have flowing through your business. And all of those things, these are key indicators to a healthy business. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, that's what I wanted to share with you all today. Just some things to highlight and give you that conscious interrupt. We're right now on a major mission that we have in this company to benefit people all over the world, and we want to make sure that you truly benefit from the efforts that have been put out from the top, which is our CEO, through our executives, and all of the people who are contributing around the world. Let's go out here and make this thing happen, because it's your turn. As I always say, it is your time.